going to tell you right off the bat, because I don't want to waste your time, that this is just an initial impression, initial review of the Sabrina 3s. I have a broken foot. I'm not able to play in these yet, so it's not a performance review. It is just putting it on my right foot, kind of walking around in the house, trying to test the traction, test the cushioning, just as a casual shoe right now, after I can take my boot off my broken foot. Hopefully that's about next week or in 2 weeks. I'm gonna get it on court and really test the shoe out. So I just wanted to let you know, didn't want to mislead you into thinking I've played like hours and hours with the Sabrina 3s, but please keep an eye out when I actually do a performance review of the 3s, because I'm really looking forward to it. I really don't think there was a bigger proponent of the Nike Sabrina 2s. There might have been people that loved it just as much as I did, but I can honestly say I don't know anyone that liked them more than me, because I love the Sabrina 2s. The tech specs, the way it fit around my foot, the affordability, just everything about it was what I was looking for in a basketball shoe for my size, for my weight, for my playing style. I really can't think of a complaint that I had. So the bar is up here, expectations are insanely high, the Sabrina 3s are finally here, and I can't wait. Nike Sabrina 3 All-Star, bring the heat. Now the shoe first dropped on July 18th for $140. Of course, this is the third signature shoe for Sabrina Ionescu, and if you didn't know, she is a star player in the WNBA. She was also a star in Oregon in college, and this was one of a few Nike shoes that they released during a WNBA All-Star weekend. There was the A1s, the Kobe 6 Protros that I reviewed, the Jordan 3 WNBA All-Star as well, so if you're interested, check those out. This is the most anticipated for me. And first impressions of the Sabrina 3 WNBA All-Star, I really like it. All of her shoes have like that Kobe type of DNA, low top of course, and it's like low profile, it looks sleek, and there's a bunch of nice colorways that come out eventually. I personally am not like the hugest fan of this specific colorway, but I just really wanted to get this shoe in hand, touch it, feel it, wear it, see how it compares to the Sabrina 2s. So it's not my favorite colorway. It's a bit too much for me with the peach orange and the yellow. I just don't see myself wearing this much, but I wanted to get these in hand. Silhouette wise, I really like it. As you can see, very similar to the Sabrina 2s. The embroidery is slightly different. The mid panel looks slightly different as well, but it is very similar. And considering how much I love the Sabrina 2s, why fix it? Why change it up too much if it ain't broke? And the materials on the shoe, nothing too fancy. It is pleated engineered mesh with tunneling cables, so you can see like on the mid panels here, those cables are meant to reinforce stability and support and like high movement areas of the shoe. The materials itself, like on the toe box, it isn't like exactly premium. It's not a shoe that's going for that type of upper tier price range, and you'll see embroidery all around the toe box as well as the ankle area, and that embroidery pattern is actually inspired by Ionescu's Romanian heritage. And you'll see at the heel here, it's got like this ripstop pattern there too, wrapping around to the booty of the shoe. You'll see an eye, of course. Ionescu starts with an eye, and you'll see very subtly the number 20 at the base of the eye. That is her number. And in terms of the swoosh itself, very interesting. I couldn't tell from images actually, but up close when you touch it, this is actually like a fabric material. And you'll see on the medial side, again, you get this kind of vertical swoosh going upwards, and this swoosh itself also does have that same type of fabric feeling that you see on the lateral swoosh. And apparently the medial swoosh is off the axis because it's supposed to represent her shattering glass ceilings. That is not me, that is Nike.com's official description, so don't think I made it up. Some people seem to think when I like research a shoe and then I talk about the inspiration behind the design, like I'm just making crap up. It is literally part of Nike.com. And on the heel counter here, it also feels like this fabric, almost synthetic nubuck type of material here. So they have moved her signature from the forefoot area to the heel of the shoe. And then moving on tongue, you get like a mesh tongue with Sabrina's logo, and the shoe doesn't come with any extra laces, so just these peach laces out of the box. Didn't really expect like an extra set for this shoe. If I had to choose, I think white laces would actually look pretty good on the shoe, would make this kind of pop a little bit. And then you see on the eyelets here, these eyelet loops. And I know some people may have some durability concerns regarding those loops. And again, as I break the shoe in, play with it, put like 20, 100 hours into the shoe, I'll be able to report back. In the box of the shoe, you get a Sabrina branded box and pretty cool paper that has like a bunch of diagrams of basketball courts, like dimensions with her logo as well. Cool, almost like concept sketches. And in terms of the tech specs and cushioning of the shoe, this is the same as the Sabrina 2s. So you get a Cushlon 3.0 midsole that is wrapped around in a more firmer Phylon carrier foam. Now, the Sabrina 2s was actually the first Nike basketball shoe to use Cushlon 3.0, and I personally just love it. It is a perfect balance for me, for my knees, between like a soft type of plush, bouncy type of foam, as well as the firmness of it. So not too much on either end where it's like super firm, like some Phylon, old Phylon can come very, very firm. As I got older, I definitely prefer something slightly more plush and bouncy, and Cushlon 3.0 is just one of my favorites. It does also come with a zoom unit on the forefoot area. That is the same as the Sabrina 2s, so basically identical. And you'll see at the very top of the toe box, just in case you forget what type of tech spec it is, it says air zoom. I'm lightweight. I know some heavy players have really had some durability concerns with this Cushlon 3.0, with this shoe specifically. I can't speak to that experience, and I'm not gonna fake like that I can't. I can only tell you how I felt playing with the Sabrina 2s for twice a week at least for over a year. I've never ever had an issue. And you'll see on the outsole here though, has a translucent outsole. The outsole pattern though is different. So as you can see, Sabrina 2s, just majority herringbone. Sabrina 3s has her own like S-shaped outsole. Again, like I said, I have not been able to play ball in these. I've got a fractured foot, so I haven't tested this traction out in like dustier gyms or nice and well-maintained gyms, but just at home, like on my hardwood floors, they perform pretty well. But maybe I'm just a very good cleaner and maintain my hardwood floors very nicely. I suspect it will be good traction. I don't know if it'll be elite. The Sabrina 2s I had no problems with traction wise, so hopefully we can perform the same. One thing I do know though is this type of icy translucent outsole sometimes can be like a magnet for dust, so you have to wipe your shoes quite a bit. Now in terms of using it outdoors, I think it'll perform fine. There may be some rocks and dust that'll get stuck in between the grooves. Personally, I would keep these as indoor shoes. Durability for Sabrina 2s at least were already probably its biggest weakness, and I foresee the same thing for the Sabrina 3s, so I would personally keep these indoors. But if you really wanted to, I think this shoe is affordable enough where if you're wearing it outdoors, you're not like bleeding on the inside. And you'll see this little cutout here. There is a midfoot TPU shank here. Nothing fancy, so it's not like carbon fiber or anything. A TPU in the midfoot, honestly, for me, works pretty well, and that is to increase torsional rigidity, prevent your shoe from bending and twisting too easily. Very bad for injuries, I would know. I have a broken foot right now. It also helps with kinetic energy return, and some shoes, some basketball shoes like the Dame 9s can have like an entire plate that extends through the whole length of your foot. I personally don't love that setup. It feels quite stiff out of the box, can get like some time getting used to it. A midfoot shank is perfect for me. I never felt like the mesh on the upper was too weak to really hold my foot in place. Decently wide base, so that increases like the contact surface with the court. That improves stability. And you also see like the Sabrina 2s, there is a decent outrigger on the shoe here that also increases stability and support. Heel counter is decent. I will say I know some like heavyweight players do have some concerns regarding the overall support of the shoe, but if you're like a lightweight kind of shifty guard, I don't think you're gonna have any problems in terms of support. If you're not and you're 6'8", 240, definitely get a second opinion. Now I can't rip the insole of this shoe out, it is just glued very tightly, but it's a very generic insole, has Sabrina branding, feels like the same as the Sabrina 2s. And in terms of sizing and comfort, I am a wide and flat footer, and this is probably the biggest difference I felt between the 2s and the 3s. I will say when I first put my foot into the shoe, it felt very tight in the forefoot. I probably would have gone half a size, but I do hesitate to make a final like verdict in terms of sizing because it might break in very nicely and it starts to loosen up and it'll just fit like a glove. The Sabrina 2s fit very well, even as a wide and flat footer. No problems in the arch area, no problems in the forefoot area. I'm trying to remember if initially when I first wore the Sabrina 2s, if I also felt pretty tight around the forefoot toe box area, and I don't believe it did. But that is one thing I definitely noticed. I think you could probably go up half a size and you still minimize heel slippage because this heel does cup your foot pretty nicely. If you do go up half a size and you're a wide and flat footer, if there's a bit too much heel slippage or like too much room, you could just double up on socks, wear super thick socks. And if you go true to size and it's too tight, you could wear thin socks, but that might still feel too tight and you'd rather have a shoe that's got slightly a bit more room than like an overly tight shoe that'll hurt your feet. Because you can always like triple up on socks, you can't like take skin off your feet. But I will try and play in these after my foot is not broken, and I will go true to size, try to break it in, see if true to size is the way to go long term. And this shoe, just like the 2s, is pretty low profile too, so you get that really nice core feel, but it's not like super low where you feel, I don't know, too exposed. As I get older, I prefer like a little bit of room between the court and my foot. I don't want to go too low, but this still gives you a very, very well-balanced core feel. Lower than the A1s that just recently came out. Really felt exactly the same as the Sabrina 2s. Now in terms of the weight, here's the official weight versus the Sabrina 2s. Honestly, it is not like the lightest shoe that you can get on the market, but as someone that grew up when they were putting things out like the LeBron 4s, I rarely complain about weight when it comes to basketball shoes in 2025. So the weight for these, no problems for me. And if you're just wearing this for comfort, like I said, I really like the Cushlon 3.0 foam. It just feels really nice underfoot. If you're not used to like a lower profile kind of shoe, specifically basketball shoes, and wearing them casually, it might take some time to get used to, but I think this is a very comfortable shoe to just walk around, maybe some light walking. Now, are these better than the Sabrina 2s? I'll have to wait till I can get these on court, play with them, put like at least a few hours, but at least like 10, 20 hours on them to really compare. Right now, I'm cautiously optimistic that they are at least as good as the 2s. Two concerns that I have that are kind of unanswered is the sizing. So like I said, slightly tighter in the forefoot area for the Sabrina 3s. I didn't really experience that for the 2s. Maybe once I break it in, that will go away. But sizing is not like the worst thing to worry about, because you can always go up half a size, go down a size, stay true to size. Second concern that I have that I will find out is the traction. Herringbone is tried and true, will work really well on the Sabrina 2s. Her own kind of S-shaped outsole, I think, if I had to guess, will work decently, but I'm gonna go to a court that is slightly dusty, test it out, see how it compares, and I'll report back. But right now, still a fan. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Nike Sabrina 3 All-Star. Bring the heat. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come. The wear your shoes.